What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we have the other part of the news. I have some more official information coming your way about changes mainly made around Doppelganger Natalia and Star Expedition. So one of the issues that still resolves is the fact that you can kind of take any type of buff in game that has like no round limit and just keep doubling it with Doppelganger Natalia. Now we don't know, however, if the attack power cannot be done more than 50 times in a stack. We'll have to see. We'll have to test that out. But there is going to be a big change in the form of one of the OG favorites. Even Wrath of God Gaming used to love him, the Gerkenator. He was the huge buffer in PvE. He currently still is a huge buffer in PvE. However, you're not going to use this hero anymore. Gerke is officially dead, and we're going to talk about exactly why. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's jump right into it. Yes, the fan favorite support hero, one of the original heroes in the game, literally the first ever light hero to hit the game. Gerkenator was a decent healer, but he was really a damage buffer. I mean, even his basic attack would, increase holy damage to the team. By default, he had tons of holy damage, attack, HP, and crit chance. Every time he took damage, he would restore his own HP, increase the holy damage of himself for 3 rounds, and his active ability was really his bread and butter, especially once getting actives off. Every single round became a thing with things like Demon Bells being splendid and having upgraded and feeding energy. And basically his skill reads as this: deals damage against 4 random enemies, then restores self HP for 3 random enemies, or 3 random allies. Then this is the big part: increases them 25% holy damage. There's no round limit. That is literally a perpetual buff, which is really the only reason why it's even still valid today. And that's going to change. Now, the reason why you can't have buffs like this in the game anymore, I believe, that can't just like have no round limit on them, it really comes down to the newest Transcendence hero and her basic attack. Changes the base attack to deals damage to frontline enemies, deals damage, blah, blah, blah. This is the big part. Every 1 attribute reduction deals more, blah, 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 blah. Get down to the bottom here. There's a 100% chance to replicate 2 random attribute buffs from self to allies that have the Bright Blessing. Now, this is pretty big because the remaining duration and 100% attribute stays reserved. The reason why this became so crazy were things that last 15 plus rounds, like the Osis buff. Well, guess what else lasts 15 plus rounds? This effect right here. Now you'd use him in a ton of different game modes, but essentially what is happening is this. There's a couple things that are happening. So by default, his level 3, so when I say level, in case you guys didn't know, if you take a look at his skills just in general, you'll see like this is the level 2 version. You notice the level 2 version doesn't give any holy damage buffing, but when you get to the level 3 version, you get the holy damage and it's perpetual. What they're changing here is the level 3 skill will instead randomly increase by 30% holy damage for 3 of your heroes for 4 rounds. So there is a cap of 4 rounds on that. You're not gonna be able to stack this 14 times, essentially 15 times on your main damage. 14 really, because you go after your main damage dealer, so you get 14 times this, which is what 14 times 25% is 350% additional holy damage. That is insane. And what they're also changing is, if you take a look here, level 4 version increased it by 30%. They're changing this to increase it by 40% holy damage to 3 heroes, again, for only 4 rounds. So this is going to be a very big change in a lot of different game modes because, well, Gerke was being used in everything. Not only is he used in this game mode where people absolutely love pushing Flame Shrine damage numbers, like, oh, hey, you can actually see the original guild. I never knew that was a thing. None of you guys exist on this guild anymore. But game modes like Guild Altar, people used Gerke to basically stack huge amounts of holy damage. Definitely used him in Star Expedition, which is insane as well. And on top of that, I mean, even with the new Broken Spaces levels coming out very soon, 10 and 11, I'm sure we would be using Gerke on everything. The only game mode we essentially don't use them on for bosses is the Void Campaign boss, and that's simply because, well, you can't, because you can only use Transcendence heroes here. So what this means is essentially if you have a Gerke on your account, which actually, do I even still, yeah, I got my Gerke. Gerke has still one of the most badass skins ever to come to the game. Essentially means he's useless. You're not going to use this hero anymore. 4 rounds isn't horrible though, but I feel like there's a better person to put in that slot. Maybe even someone like Doppelganger Natalia on your team, just to give you some more buffs. But again, you're getting actives off in the cause method, so I don't know. It's interesting. It seems like they're getting rid of all these perpetual things, which leads me to believe, I wonder if they're ever going to do anything with this and give this attack steal a round limit as well. That would be a crazy change to Lord of Fear Aspen for battles that last more than like 3 or 4 rounds. But yeah, because even if you put Doppelganger Natalia on your team with a cause setup with a Lord of Fear Aspen, she's never going to use a basic attack to replicate, because I mean essentially your team is always going to have energy with cause with the Demon Bell energy feed, so it's almost like a non-issue. So unless something newer is coming out sometime soon, I don't really understand the change, besides just the fact that they want to get rid of all these effects that just last forever. Now, if they are going to start going after abilities like this, I think they're only going to do it if it's really a big red flag. And honestly, I think they're only going to do it on heroes that are not Transcendence, because they want Transcendence heroes to be the best of the best. And that's, again, something that Mystic Fairy Freya has something very similar, where she has something that lasts just simply to the battle ends, and you can just indefinitely stack this. Now, her other evolutionary factor things are, you know, limited by rounds, which makes sense. However, this one at the end of each round increases the damage dealt to poison targets by 10%. Meanwhile, increases self-attack by 12%. I mean, that's cool because it's increasing her own attack, but this also transfers over at 33%. So you're still giving 4% attack and 3.33 repeating, of course, damage to your main damage dealer like Lord of Fear Aspen. So we'll have to see if they start going after abilities like this as well. I don't think they will, though. I think they're just going to be kind of taking out the usability of old heroes. So let me know what you guys think about this change. Honestly, I'll take this change over having the boss removing buffs. I'm happy that Osis is getting a change. That's fine. It's gonna kind of hurt more early game players, which that kind of sucks, but I can understand that they have to change it in some way, otherwise it just breaks the game. The Gerke nerf, yeah, sure, that's fine too, but the fact that the boss isn't going to remove buffs from your team is just absolutely huge. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Gerke is dead. See you guys next time.